Hi, I'm Tony White. In this video, I will show you my top tips for painting better cars in the landscape by doing just a few things. Squaring up your lines, keeping them generic, and painting them in clusters. Let's get stuck in. Okay, let's have a look at some pictures of cars in paintings. Now, they're not the main stars of the show, but they are in there to add atmosphere and mood and activity. You can see that it's always a good idea to paint them in clusters and in groups, and it's a good way to use your figures as a scale reference. Don't round your corners off too much. They'll end up looking very cartoonish and just not very good. They end up looking like this. Yeah, no good. No good at all. So this front view, and the rear view for that matter, it's just a trapezoid and a rectangle. That's it. Just square your lines up. Don't be tempted to go all rounded and paint specific models of cars or anything like that. Don't vary them too much. It's just to, as soon as it speaks car, whatever that language is, as soon as it speaks car, you're done. That's it. That's all you're after. This is not a study of a car. This is cars within the landscape and within the streetscape. They make scenes a bit more dynamic, and if you can get them right, just by simplifying them like this, then you'll be well on your way. Now, it's always darker at the bottom of the body of the car, just like I'm painting there. Now, obviously that just doesn't get as much light, so it's more in the shadow. So make them darker, and that shadow line underneath the car, going between the wheels is the go. It's always really important, that one. There's another way you can do it. I'm just painting the windscreen area with water, just with clear water there for a second, and you can go back into it and put a few little dots and dashes of colour, and it'll start looking a bit more like reflections, and like the windscreen is reflecting its surroundings. And also you can frame the cars in, keep little highlights on the roof and the rear vision mirrors, the rear view mirrors. Figures are really good to use for scale, absolutely. We're talking averages here, okay? So yes, there are different sized cars, there are different models of cars, there are varieties in everything, okay? But we don't want to panic too much about that. We don't want to try and put variety in everything, because we're not painting a portrait of a car. Okay, so keep them generic. It's all based around the average height of the average sedan and the average person, and away we go. Talking averages and all generic. Keep them generic and they'll work much better for you. They'll just work so much better. And here you can see that I'm just doing sort of distant cars with not as much detail and just lighter in tone. Just a couple of lines, windscreen and body, a couple of wheels, that's it. And once you've got a couple of them, fleshed out a bit more, you don't have to flesh out all the rest of it. you just indicate these cars in the distance. It's a really good trick. Really good trick. It's the same. I guess it's the same with everything with painting. You don't spell everything out, and your paintings look better. They look more dynamic and more artistic and a lot more flair. Here's just an example of painting them in clusters and how we're, just starting off by having them all coming towards us or going away from us. Okay, so nothing, nothing too outlandish. It's just they're in there among the buildings. There's a car going past now. There you go. So they do add, into streetscapes, they do add really good sense of scale as well. So if you've got buildings and all kinds of things going on in your streetscapes, cars, and the size thereof, they do help with the scale of everything. It's kind of like figures do. Cars just give us an extra bit of perspective to reference. Our eyes all of a sudden know what size cars should be, and they take over from there. It's great. Just keep everything really simple. That's the trick. Just keep it all simple. And colour-wise here, obviously, you can see that I'm just using whatever's going around the palette. Happened to be a predominantly blue kind of vibe on this day. And there's a couple of distant ones there as well. Look at that. All in the distance. And at this stage, what you can also do is just start putting in some tail lights and headlights. So of course, on the tail lights, they're going to be going the other way. That's the tail of the car. So you can just indicate direction of the cars purely by the colours of the lights that you're painting in there. And with the white, the headlights, they're usually white. I just put in a bit of titanium white watercolour, and there you go, bang, straight in. Sometimes you just leave it, it just depends what it needs. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much for joining me. I hope this has helped by giving you the tools you need in order to start painting better cars today. Thanks very much, and I'll see you next time.